Kathy contacted us because she was alarmed at what she saw in her dreams. She shared 3 dreams that we include on today's show, and we got it figured out in one session. Janet is working on her healing journey, and I grabbed 2 of her dreams that are vastly different, but they say the exact same thing. You'll really enjoy this. Welcome to the Dream Interpretation Podcast with Michael and Sandy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome.
This is another half hour of us eavesdropping on the very personal communication between the spirit world and you on your journey. That's why we focus on dreams, because that's what they are. If you want to know what you're meant to be doing in your life right now at this very moment, then look no further than your dreams. Through analyzing your dreams, I reveal your potential and the obstacles you need to overcome. I am very specific. I tell you the superpowers that you have, what would make you magnificent, and the bumps in life that are holding you back. These bumps are not in the way, they are the way. To get your dream analyzed on our show, go to dream-analysis.com/podcast, fill in the form there, or simply email your dream to radioshow@dream-analysis.com. That's all you have to do. Sandy, anything you want to say before we start today's show?
Yes. So if you joined our private dream clinic, you would have more dreams done. Just kind of putting a plug in for that. It's on Tuesdays at 9 a.m. and it's weekly. So you might want to consider it. Anyways, that's all I have to say.
All right. That wasn't rehearsed. This is just what Sandy does. If you want to go find out about that, you can go to ashlingdreamclinic.com or freedreamclinic.com. That'll get you there too. And you'll see the one that we do that's free on the first Tuesday every month, and then the private one that you can join as well. Anyway.
Yeah, so go do it. It'll be fun.
What I want to do now is show 2 dreams from Janet that say the same thing, but in completely different ways. And it's kind of amusing. Yes, they say different things too, but sometimes I'm looking at dreams for particular things. And in this case, Janet is in therapy and healing issues with Dad. And when you're in any therapy, there is an arc that your dreams follow. I've talked about this on the show before, but the very short summary is that your dreams turn dark. If they don't turn dark, the therapy isn't doing jack and you're wasting your time and your money. We start seeing negative and positive representations of what you're working on in your dreams. So if you're rebalancing masculine energy, for instance, by working on Dad, then you'll see positive and negative male characters in your dreams. At some point, you'll dream of males who you lost touch with. The dream will want you to get close to them, but initially you'll have a reason not to. Ultimately, you'll dream about a male you really admire and you will get close to them, maybe hug them or even get into bed with them. Along the way, though, your dreams can show battle scenes with blood and gore. And these are all good things when you're in a therapy. We need to see them, and we will see them when a therapy is effective, but only when it's effective. The last part of the arc is you'll dream of graduations or moving on, and then you'll stop dreaming about males for a while. And that's how you know you're done based on dream work. However, your therapist and you also already know you're done, because you'll feel transformed, improved, ready to take on the world. The negative traits associated with the trauma have started to disappear. You'll notice yourself not being triggered. You'll notice yourself doing things you were afraid to do before. And you're aware that you're not afraid anymore. It's quite amusing to see the difference within yourself.
So, Michael, wow, that's amazing that dreams get into that much detail. I know it does, but to actually see and have it go really gory and bloody and all of that. So, can you explain maybe a little bit more about what's going on there? Because I'm sure some of those dreams have got to be scary.
Well, it's a characteristic. When people work on themselves, their dreams change. And because they change so significantly, it's common for anybody in a therapy to share their dreams with the therapist. It's like, hey, I had this weird dream. It's weird for me, and here's what it is. Or it's disturbing, and that's why I'm sharing it. But we want to see those dreams. If they don't get disturbing, then you're not getting down to the deep level of work that you need to do. And so ultimately, in a therapy, we're working on something that we don't really want to work on, But we've come to the conclusion that we need to work on it. And we know it's not going to be pretty for a while, but we know where we're going. We know we're going to get to a nice place. But that interim period can show our inner conflict. It can show like that the issues themselves, how they showed up in our lives and how they impact us. And they're not nice things. You know, here's what went on in childhood, or here's what went on that caused this particular thing. We already know we don't want to look at it. And our dreams kind of reflect that. But again, it's a necessary arc that our dreams have to take. So you want to know that your dreams are doing that they are changing. And ultimately, they change into a much more positive thing. Like I said, at the end, you typically don't dream about that person, or that you don't dream about males if you're working on dad. And again, very important to see all of that.
Wow, that's amazing. It's really surprising. Anyways, are you ready
Yes.
to dive in?
Yes. So let's take a look at the first dream.
All righty. It's titled Weird Gym Day, and it's from Janet. I was at the gym, and I was working out at a machine with one of my speakers. He's an old man in his 60s and a spiritual mentor in real life. I look to my left, and I see my ex on the machine next to me. He looks at me, and I look at him briefly, but I leave, and then he takes my machine. I go to the pull-up machine, and I see that there's already 2 bags on the floor. I decided to work out regardless of the bags, and I notice I'm easily able to do pull-ups, but the handles are moving around as I'm doing my workout. I look back at my ex, and he's smiling at me. A tall girl comes up to me and kneels down in front of me. As she does, something gets knocked off the machine. I check both of the handles and see a lug nut on one side. And I look at the other handle to make sure its parts are still there and confirm that it's all there. The girl lifts her leg, and on the floor, we see that there's a small styrofoam apple. I get down to look at it better, and when I look back up, the machine has vines wrapped around the handles. The girl who left the bags comes back, and I leave. Scene changes, and now I'm leaving the gym. I run into Michael Sheridan outside, and it is nighttime. Wow, Michael, you starred in this dream.
Yeah, I did, but not in a great way. But I am a positive character in the dream. But the first part really is we see a positive character, an old man in his 60s. And so we see that and her ex. We see 2 men working out in the gym alongside her. And I should point out that I cut the dream in half. Like, this is only the first half of the dream, because otherwise it'll get too complex to make the connection to the next dream. But men working out at the gym is about her working on her masculine side. So it's really good. So we're looking for the dreams to confirm that what we think we're working on is actually being worked on, her masculine side. So perfect. And then the issue, the dream points to issues at age 2, because there's 2 bags on the floor. And that's what this is about. Bags are always about baggage that I'm carrying around. So we want to see the baggage or some sort of representation of it when we're looking at a dream. So here we see it, which is cool. And she decides to work out. She doesn't let the bags put her off. But anyway, the point of this dream is we see the masculine, we see the ex. And so really he's the key. She's not happy that he's there. And I said to her, look, what this dream wanted you to do is hug your ex. And she doesn't, of course. She's not happy with him. So I said in the intro that we'll typically see somebody you've lost connection with. And so this is a perfect one. She doesn't really talk to him anymore. But the point of the dream is not to say, hey, here's your ex, now hug him. Her higher self is really saying, you need to get in touch with your masculine side, and puts a representation of that energy there. And she makes it be her ex. And she's like, well, I don't want to do this, or I'm not ready for this. This is somebody I still want to repel and get away from. But when she is ready, we will see a different character show up. And of course, I show up then later on in the dream. And even that part where she says she meets me and she's outside and it's nighttime. Well, being outside is good when working on masculine energy, but it's nighttime. So that part isn't good. So there's a lot of things in the dream that tell us she isn't ready. And by ready, I mean she's not finished with doing the therapy. She's at the point of it's just before the blood and guts are going to start showing up in her dreams.
Okay, so what about the lug nuts on one side?
So she's pulling herself up. So she's working on herself by balancing the masculine energy. And she's easily able to do the pull up. So that's very encouraging. It's saying, look, you're able to do this. And she's getting a handle on it because that's what she's holding on to, the handles. But then there's a problem with the handle. So again, it's another way. It's like saying it's nighttime outside. It's like, okay, there's a problem. I'm able to do it, but there's something that still needs to be fixed here. Not everything's right. And, so that's what we're looking for in dreams, to see what stage are we at. And we just see over and over again in our dream, something's not right, something's not right.
Okay, what about the small styrofoam apple and the vines? Let's look at both of those.
Oh, all right. Okay. So the styrofoam apple is a symbol for the womb. Fruit in dreams is a good symbol for the womb. Fruit is the ripened ovum of a plant. Basically, though, this says her issues go back to the womb. And so what is the significance of that for us? Well, one is when we're working in therapy, we want to know what we're dealing with and what's the origin. But it also tells us that we have to use something like energy work, or what we use, which is symbolic work. We use symbols that our subconscious mind understands, because they will work on any age. So this wouldn't work in talk therapy. It'd be like, hey, Sandy, tell me about your time in the womb. How did you feel? And do you think it impacts your life today? Like, you just can't do that. It tells us when she describes her issues, she's never going to be able to say, I know when this started. Because for her, this is always going to be the case. It's like it's just always been the case. But we know when we see an issue in the womb that this is something you came here to heal. This is like one of your major life purposes that we're working on here.
Wow, that's interesting. Oh, and then the vines. You didn't talk about the vines wrapping around the handles.
It shows that there's a connection between that time in the womb and the work that she's doing now, because the vines connect up to there. Now, it says more than that, but that's all we need to talk about on this show.
Okay, cool. Well, that's very interesting. Are you ready for us to try the next stream and see what's going on here?
Absolutely. But what do you mean try?
Alrighty. I will try to read it expertly, and I know you will do a fabulous job telling us what it means. It's called Printed Toilet Paper by Janet again. I was at a restaurant and decided to use the restroom before we leave, just in case we were going shopping later. I didn't want to go elsewhere. The light was dimly lit, and I clicked the switch, but it flickers and the lights stay the same. I finished peeing and go to grab the toilet paper. I noticed the toilet paper has writing on it. As I'm unrolling more toilet paper, a corner of a book page falls out. It's part of the title page. I was thinking to myself that the book page must have imprinted itself on the toilet paper, and how the factory didn't do a good job of recycling the book into toilet paper. I was going to use it, but decided it was unhygienic to wipe ink on myself. There you go. That means nothing to me.
So in the first dream, she didn't hug her ex because she's not ready. In this dream, she didn't use the toilet paper. And this is just another way of showing she is not ready. And so I thought this is a great link. She's working on herself. She's processing the story of her life. That's what the book is, to eliminate. That's what using the bathroom is about. What is holding her back? But the process is not complete. The old story is still imprinted within her, and she knows it. And all right, Sandy, I think that's the craziest link I've ever demonstrated. Not wiping with toilet paper in one dream is the same symbolically as not hugging a guy in a different dream. Feminists will love this particular show.
That is so crazy. Interesting. Wow.
But you can see the link though.
Yes, the way you explained it very clearly. Yes. That's interesting. All righty. Are you ready to dive on to the next one?
Yes.
So this is Father and Son Football by Chloe. Boy and his dad were throwing footballs in an indoor field that has multiple lanes. Dad is beside him in his own lane and is kneeling on the floor tying a shoe. The boy hit football so high it hits the beam in the ceiling, but it falls back down. Dad tells him it's all right in an encouraging tone. Oh, that's interesting.
All right. So this dream shows a positive male, the dad that the dreamer didn't have, basically. The dad who took the time to support and encourage. Even tying his shoes in this dream is excellent. So essentially what this dream is saying, and I put it in here to show, look, here's positive stuff in a dream. Really, this dream is the dad in the dream is saying, aim high, kid. Don't worry if you hit a block. I'm here with you. It's all good. Aim high. And so the dreamer didn't get this. We know that because you couldn't have this dream if you did get it. It just wouldn't be possible to have this dream. And this dream is also from somebody in therapy, and it shows. You can't have this type of dream if you're not working on yourself because it's just too good.
But how is it good? I mean, is it because they're throwing the football back and forth?
Because the father's playing a very supportive role. And it's not a stand-in. It's the actual father of the boy.
All righty. Well, that's cool to see a good dream with a positive image of a father. So I'm assuming this is someone who didn't have a dad that was there, and now the dream is showing them that they've worked on stuff and it's better. Is that what you're saying?
It's getting better because the dream is basically rewriting the story, the inner story that the dreamer has lived.
Wow, that's cool. All righty, next segment, and I'm looking forward to this one. Are you ready?
Yes, I am. So what happened here is Kathy contacted me out of the blue. She started having cancer dreams, and she'd taken courses with us before, so she knew something was up right away. Now, don't switch off here because this is fascinating. What we got to in one session was a profound understanding of what she needs to do to fix this. Now, I love how dream work uncovers the big issues in a person's life. Sandy, you'll remember we featured a cancer dream a few weeks ago, and people don't like that. We get far fewer likes on our videos that have health dreams, and that's madness. What is more important than your health? Now we're going to look at a set of 3 dreams, and immediately we see the link to mom. We will cover all 3 dreams quickly, and then I will explain how we figured out the unresolved trauma at the center of this for Kathy. I also want to say at the outset that these dreams are nothing to worry about because Kathy knows that these health dreams are totally new for her, and dreams alert us to issues coming down the road. They don't wait for you to develop an issue and then tell you. There's no point in that. They're an advanced warning system. So Sandy, what's our first one?
The first one is Rat in My Pocket from Kathy. My mom, her mom, and myself are riding in my mom's truck. We are headed someplace to uncover something, but I don't remember what now. I notice that I'm wearing a heather gray zip-up jacket, and suddenly my pockets feel heavy. I reach in to find out what's going on, and I pull out a huge, light gray rat. Ooh. He scares me at first, but he is set on being in my pocket. Every time I try to take him out and put him on my shoulder or even my head, he scurries back down my back and around my hips and back into the pocket. I just want him to be my buddy. The truck pulls into a parking spot and I hop out. My jacket has now transformed into a cardigan sweater with a large forward-facing pocket. I peer into the heavy right one, and there the rat's going hard on a piece of breaded chicken. He hisses at me and went back to chewing on the chicken. Ugh, Michael, I don't like this dream.
Okay.
I don't like rats.
Well, just because you don't like rats. Okay. So we see straight away, the rat is a cancer symbol in this dream. And so we see straight away it's connected to mom because she's with her mom and her grandma and so on. And she's in mom's truck. So mom is the one influencing all of this. We don't know what it is yet. We just know that there's the link. And then she discovers this rat in her pocket. So this is good. It's like, this isn't good. I want to get rid of this. But really, what should we do in a dream like this is kill the rat. And that's what I told her to do. Go into that dream, back into that dream, kill the rat. Anyway, she doesn't do it, even when it changes. the rat's there and it's eating breaded chicken. So we know that something's connected with diet too. We would suspect that too. Have you questions? You always have questions, Sandy.
There is a lot to this. So we've got a gray rat and a gray zip-up jacket. What's going on with the color gray?
So gray is about mental denial of emotion. So she suppresses her emotions and is rational. And so that's linked to the issue. And we know that's going to be linked to mom because emotions and expression of how we feel is a feminine energy thing. So it just makes sense. It's connected to mom anyway.
Yeah. And why does the rat have to keep going back into the pocket? What does the pocket have to do with anything?
It's about it kind of being hidden. You know, she's discovering this and she needs to take it out of her pocket and kill it or get rid of it altogether. But she doesn't do any of that.
That was not a necessarily nice dream, I guess. It's not too scary until you realize rats mean something nasty. But anyways, let's move on. The next one, I don't even like the title of the next one. Ugh. Tiny Wormy Fox. Again from Kathy. I was at my parents' house, but there was more cattle, panels, mazes in place than normal. I was sent out to clean up the dead animals in the wood line. I pick up a couple of crows, a snake, and I find a baby fox I thought was going to die. When I come to check on it the next day, it had crawled under a tree and it was very alive and full of worms. I picked it up and carried it around, dodging 3 county sheriff officers, women, who were looking for me. I wanted the fox to be my buddy, like the rat dream. Oh my God, Michael, this is gross. With the worms.
So this is one of the problems. And it's typical of cancer dreams. I kill all these things, but I'm going to keep one and it's going to be my friend. And so it's just a characteristic of it. So I asked her when we were doing these dreams, what were the county sheriffs going to do? Because they're guides in the dream and you shouldn't be trying to avoid them. And she said, well, I knew if they got me, they would kill the fox. They were looking for me to kill the fox. So that's perfect. That's what should have happened. We see the dead animals in the wood line. So the wood line tells us where it's going to hit her is her elimination system, let's say. And she picks up dead crows and a dead snake. And it should have been a dead fox, but it's a baby fox. So it's fine to see symbols of cancer like crows and snakes in your dreams when they're dead, because we all develop cancer cells from time to time. There's nothing magical about that or unusual. And our immune system spots them and kills them. And so finding them dead is exactly how we want to find them in the dream. Now, we'd rather have no dreams about it, but the point, it's better to have a dream where you see them dead. So it's like her immune system is working, but there's something that she is doing that is making it reluctant to deal with this. So any more questions, Sandy?
Yeah. How about the full of worms? That's kind of gross, Michael.
Well, the worms are another cancer symbol. They're not a good cancer symbol.
No. Okay. Let's move on, because that one gives me like my skin wants to crawl. All right. Our next dream is snakes, once again from Kathy. I was walking up a sidewalk with a shaman and she suddenly said, there. I looked down at the edge of the sidewalk where I was about to step, and there was a strange shade of red snake with a lighter stripe going down its side. I stepped back as it curled up, only to notice another one, the orange color of a push-up pop. I take another step back and see a third one coiled, the same as the first, and ready to strike. Copperheads, I say in herd. They don't look like copperheads, though. As it lunges for my foot, I reach down and catch it. I try to rip it with my hands, but I'm terrified it's going to get me. I'm fighting to destroy it as I avoid its fangs. It's writhing in my hands when I start to tear its head in half. It closes its mouth and it tries to squirm free. And I notice it's got a fang in the back of my finger. I remember her hearing, "It got me after all," as I ripped it into 2 pieces. I feel sad, defeated, and wake up. Well, at least she tried to kill it.
She did kill it. And that's the right thing to do in a dream. This is 3 dreams we picked out of what we went over in the session. So it's like the consistency in our dreams. So what happened? I asked her, did you change your diet? Like, what have you added to your diet? And she said, yes, I started taking this particular medication that is designed to make me lose weight. And so then I asked, okay, why did you start taking that? Because obviously that's the cause of this. And she said that she's in the army, she's overweight, and she has been told that if she doesn't lose weight, she'll be kicked out. That's really sad. And so then we're talking about it, like, how do you make the connection with mom and babies and all the things that we see in this dream? We arrive at it by having the discussion based on what's in the dreams. And I said, when did you start putting on weight? And she said, I was fine all the way up until I was in my late 20s. When I got pregnant is when I started putting on weight. And I was like, okay, well, what is the connection between that and mom? And she said that my mom always complained to me, always, never stopped, about how she put weight on when she was pregnant with me, and she was never able to lose the weight. And she blamed me all the time. And so it's guilt. The whole issue was putting on weight because of mom's guilt tripping about getting pregnant with her, because mom got pregnant with her at the age 16. So putting it all on the child. This is a characteristic you'll see with parents that never got a manual on how to deal with a child properly. And they blame the child for their decisions, But anyway, that was it. She was taking this stuff to lose weight. And I channeled on it, and we were told, okay, here's what you need to do. Do this for 5 days and the dreams should stop.
I think that's pretty powerful. Absolutely powerful, because it really pinpointed it and showed you right here. And also what's very interesting is how you quickly realize that, okay, she's not had dreams like this before. And it just suddenly changed, and you were able to pinpoint the cause of that, even though the dream, it kind of nods to diet.
Sandy, that's our show for this week.
Wow. I'm happy to see how well you were able to pinpoint this and give this person a direction so she doesn't come down with something that would be awful.
And that's happened a number of times with former students where something will change in their dreams and they're like, I don't like this. Can you help us with this? And usually we get it in one session just like that.
Yeah, that's great news. Thank you, Michael. This was really a lot of fun.
We will see you all next week. Take care.
Thank you. Have a good week. Bye.